Hello, Renee Flamand here. Once again, asking for those subs. See, I can do it. I can ask. This is like how many in a row now I've done. I really want you to subscribe if you're watching anyway, because I understand that increases its probability to be in front of someone else that may need this help. Seriously. So I've never used to ask. I'm really trying to get into the habit. Okay. In making the outline, thank you, too. Please subscribe, if you have. I appreciate it. So thank you, and please. I don't think I said please. This was a grave concern of mine, and in making this outline, I was reliving the concern I had for my mind going forward. Not just circumstantially, can I stay away from the guy? It was, what is this going to do to me? I'm very protective of this space, and I've worked on it for decades. Okay? My daughter was raised with it. We do candles, we do incense, we do smudging with the sage, we, read quotes, we listen to music. It's a very, I'm very into the space here, and the chi here, and the zen. My ex-husband makes fun of me. Walks in, oh, your mother, it is very calm, though. He'll say, it's very zen here. She's got it going. Like, he thinks I'm a gypsy. But all that's very important to me. I work on that all the time. It's how I live. I always want the space to feel a certain way. I make changes in things. I put a candle here. And like I said, it's like to create a nice space. It's very, very important. So I was worried about my mind going forward. What would I keep from this experience? And you might have had the same concern. How am I going to get through this? This is a mess. This is left for me? How am I going to clean this up? Would it affect me adversely for the rest of my life? I wasn't sure. Right? How can I keep all of this abuse at bay and not internalize it? And I'm very careful with using the word abuse, and you may or may not have noticed it, but I try to not. I think I've explained why, but I try not to use it a lot. It doesn't sit well with some people. They don't like to think of themselves as abused. I don't say it when I talk to people, like in my life. I don't say he was abused. I don't use that word. I simply say, I think I've told you my 30-second commercial, the line is, he wasn't who we thought he was. But it is, I think it's normal to not want to think of yourself as somebody that is abused. I do understand that, I do. So I don't say the word a lot, because really it's just semantics. I don't need to say the word. Whatever you call it, whatever you name it or tag it, it is indeed, and in fact, whether we say it or not, it is abuse. So I don't consistently use the word. I think deep down inside we know it is, and that's enough. I don't think we need to keep saying it. It does bother some people, or I would think that it could, and I'm sensitive to that. I'm sensitive that there could be that kind of person. That makes sense to me. So, but regardless of whether we name it, it can stay with you. And we must treat it with the vigilance of any abuse victim going forward that they have to do to heal. That's the vigilance you have to use. It includes concentrating on only yourself and your own well-being. And that's the vigilance. You have to be dedicated to that, dedicated to your healing, looking out for yourself. As we move through the relationship with a narcissist, whether it's in a good stage or the bad stage, our regard for them is always in the front seat. Always. Always. Even when they love bomb you, you want to love bomb them back. They made you feel so good, now you want to make them feel good. when you're fighting. Ooh, I don't want to make him too upset, but I want to get my point across, but I do want the truth. But ooh, he's getting mad. He might leave. Oh, he hung up on me. It's always right in the front seat. Regard for them needs to take a back seat. If you're still even in any way, even around them, use a lot of evens on purpose, which I hope you're not if you're wanting to fix the mess, because that means you recognize it was a mess. And it may include therapy, although if you seek therapy, I'd find someone who is well-versed in dealing with narcissistic personality disorder specifically. Not all are. I'm sure they have to read the chapter to get the medical degree, but are they well versed in treating people with this? So they can help you and guide you if that's what you feel you need. Abuse can include a lot of different things that can certainly harm you going forward, things that you can keep in your brain. It can include names they called you. It can include projection they used to put their transgressions onto you, shifting that blame so you take in the responsibility for it. It's abusive. Makes you nuts. Makes you start questioning yourself. All of that is twisted emotional garbage. The financial restraints, people get controlled by money if the narcissist controls the money. Physical, which I can't even, and I can't even picture that. So I pray that you get help and leave that situation. There are no reasons why they do this that have any of these things that have anything to do with you at all. And by at all, I mean at all. The mess they create is just the way they behave. That's the way they behave. They behave this way through life consistently. That means before you, during you, and after you. So the mess they created, one of the things that helped me get through it is I realized it was just another one of their messes that they created for someone. So let me treat it as insignificant as that, and let me clean up this mess, navigate through it, figure it out, walk through the muck, and get to the other darn side. I wasn't going to allow myself to stay in a mess left by somebody that has nothing to offer except dysfunction. No, Nope. I won't do it. I won't do it. And we have some work to do in remembering that their behavior has nothing to do with us, which I just mentioned. We have some work to do there. Because we do internalize it, even if I'm telling you not to, and I knew I shouldn't. We all do. At some point or another, what did I do to deserve this? Question comes up. That's internalizing it. It might be global to the whole relationship. It might take you a while to get there. It might not be every act. You're very mad he stepped out on you. But eventually, part of us, we all go, what did I do to deserve this? That's internalizing it. You didn't do anything. Nothing. Nothing. That's the part that concerns me. I didn't want that bouncing around in my brain for the rest of my life and having me brought down by feeling I did something to bring this on to myself. That's a lot of negative energy. I don't want that. And just like with serial killers, I always go to serial killers, I know. Because we're fascinated with their minds as a family. We just share this interest, okay? And it goes anywhere from my brother making me love slasher movies. My daughter loves them too now. my mother's love for anything and everything cop or crime related, dating back to the 80s for her to present day, and my interest into the minds of these people in a clinical fashion. So I always go there. But in any of all these cases, situations, fictional or documentary, with serial killers, and the example I'm just using as an example, I'm not saying the psychopathy is the same, please. But in any of these cases, the victim, and if you watch Criminal Minds or you watch Forensic Files or if you watch any of, fictional, real, whatever, slasher films, honestly, anything where there's a serial kind of thing, did the victim do anything? No, of course not. Of course not. The victim has nothing to do with the cruelty bestowed upon them, and neither do you. Very extreme example, I understand, but I want to put that in your mind that you know that victim did nothing. Neither did you. And whether semantics or not, or whether you're one of those people that maybe, don't like the word abuse or not, the reality is you were in an abusive situation. You didn't do anything to deserve that. You were a victim in an abusive situation. You did not do anything to deserve that. And you know, we don't have anything to do with their choices. So if you go forward and concentrate on what you need to do to heal, and you only concentrate on you, and you don't give them a thought, and they are in the back seat now, then you can turn a corner into the land of knowing you do deserve, indeed, love, empathy, respect, compassion, goodness, and truth, and loyalty, and the list goes on. This should be viewed as a right we have as human beings, to be treated with, let's just use the word compassion. I think that kind of inhabits all of it. To be treated with compassion, that's a right. It is. Every human being should be treated with compassion. And if you concentrate on these things we deserve, and you put yourself first, which may feel weird because you're probably used to putting them first for the whole first length of the relationship, but retrain your brain to put you first. It may even feel selfish, but this is survival mode. It isn't enough to get out. We also have to be sure we don't carry ugly ramifications forward with us. No way, no how. And fight it with all you've got. You do whatever your routines are to get your head straight and into a space of looking at it as a positive, counting your blessings that came from it, trying to get creative as you can in order to do the two aforementioned. Get your head in a space that doesn't allow them to make it a negative space for the rest of your days. That's not. Recognize if that's happening, and hopefully just hearing these few minutes on the topic will help out in the forefront of your brain so you do recognize if it is happening. Do you know what I'm saying? And being careful is not a bad thing. That's a good effect of the mess they left. You're going to now be careful. So that is a great thing to take forward with you. That is something that you want to keep. You don't want this mess ever again in your life. You don't want to have to walk through this muck ever again in your life. You'll get through it. You will. But keep that positive going forward, that you never want this. We're going to be more discerning. We're going to have a tougher weeding out process That's all stuff you should carry forward. But don't let bad things about yourself bounce around up in that noggin and shape the opinion of yourself that you have of yourself going forward. That would be a tremendous negative from the mess that you bring forward. And that was the part that concerned me when I was going through it, and it's the part that I was remembering when I was making the outline. I was really, really worried about that. And it hasn't. Things do release. If you're in the thick of it right now, if you're newly you'd be surprised what time can do, perspective, education. There's a lot you can do to get your so that you don't allow bad things about yourself to bounce around up in your head. I mean, that would be a lasting power that they just shouldn't get. No, like what? Like as a parting gift? They also get control of your brain and how you feel about yourself? No, and no. Fight that with everything you have. They can't win in that way. Renee, I can't help myself going forward. I just feel, okay, we can deal with these feelings together. But sit up straight, snap out of it, and realize your worth, and do not allow the mess they left, the abusive behavior they showed you, to bounce around in your brain as being a measure of your worth for the days to come. You will not allow that to be in effect. Please. Okay? Please?